You're standing in line at the pharmacy, half paying attention, scrolling through your banking app while you wait. And there it is. 6 figures. $100,000. The number you used to picture as some kind of finish line back when you were broke and stressed and eating gas station sandwiches for lunch. You stare at it for a second, waiting to feel something. Relief, maybe? Pride? That I made it feeling every finance influencer promised you? And instead you feel, my name is Nick, and I spend way too much time studying the exact moment people cross financial milestones, because it turns out almost nobody tells you the truth about what's actually waiting on the other side of them. If you've ever hit a savings goal and felt weirdly unimpressed with yourself, this video is going to explain exactly why. So make sure to hit subscribe and drop a like if it helps you make sense of it. Now, before we get into why 100K doesn't feel like the movie version of wealth, let's talk about where that expectation even came from in the first place. For decades, 6 figures was shorthand.
Let's run some actual math,
100 grand a year.
because this is where the fantasy starts to wobble. $100,000 today doesn't buy what $100,000 bought when that expectation was formed. Adjusted for inflation, today's 100K has roughly the purchasing power that about $55,000 to $60,000 had back in the year 2000. Go back further to the 1980s, and today's 100 grand is closer to what $25,000 to $30,000 could do back then. The number everyone still treats like a trophy has quietly lost more than half its shine, and nobody sent out a memo.
$100,000 actually
the part
do for
that
you?
really
Mechanically.
messes with people.
Let's say it's
When
sitting in an
researchers ask-
investment account, not a salary. Using a conservative 4% withdrawal approach, that 100 grand generates around $4,000 a year in sustainable income. $4,000. That's not a lifestyle. That's a nice month, maybe 2, stretched across an entire year. The number that was supposed to represent freedom produces barely enough to cover a used car repair and a couple of grocery runs. Now picture someone named Maria. Maria is 32, works as a physical therapist, and just watched her retirement and savings accounts cross $100,000 combined for the first time. She did everything right. Contributed to her 401k.
Almost nobody explains. Most people's $100,000 isn't sitting in a drawer as spendable cash. It's locked across a 401k she can't touch without penalties until 59 and a half. A Roth IRA she could technically raid, but no, she shouldn't. And maybe a sliver of actual liquid savings. Being a 6-figure net worth person and having 6 figures to spend are 2 completely different universes. Maria is, on paper, wealthier than most Americans her age. In practice, she's one more surprise repair away from a stressful month. And then there's the tax partner nobody invited to the party. If a chunk of that 100 grand is sitting in a traditional pre-tax account, it was never fully hers to begin with. When she eventually pulls it out in retirement, it gets taxed as ordinary income. Depending on her bracket, that 6-figure balance might really be worth somewhere closer to $75,000 to $80,000 in actual spendable dollars. The statement says $100,000, the fine print says something quieter. So if the number doesn't buy freedom, and it doesn't buy the lifestyle everyone imagines, what does it actually do? Here's where Getting
it gets
to your
interesting,
first
because this is the part
$100,000 requires something most people never build: the actual habit of not spending everything you earn sustained over years without quitting halfway through. That's not a financial detail, that's an identity change. Once you've proven to yourself you can do that, the next 100,000 comes faster, not because you're smarter, but because the first 100 is now quietly working alongside you. Money you saved is now earning its own money, and that compounding effect barely existed when you were sitting at $10,000 or $20,000. At 100K, growing at a modest 7% a year, your money alone is generating about $7,000 annually without you lifting a finger.
But here's the
That's
uncomfortable twist, the one that explains why Maria didn't throw a party for herself. Your sense of enough doesn't stay put. The moment you hit a number, your brain quietly resets it as the new baseline and starts eyeing the next one. When Maria had $10,000, she thought $50,000 would feel like security. At $50,000, she started eyeing $100,000. Now that she's here, some part of her is already thinking about $250,000. about a house down payment, about her friend who just got promoted and is probably saving faster than she is. The goalpost isn't sitting still up ahead of you.